the last game is over. I guess that's the way we should start to talk about. You never know, and you've got to play each game in and on itself. I mean, we had a great win against Kent State, and it was a big rivalry win. But that game's over. We've had a week off, and now we've got to go to UMass, and we've got to start all over again and go out there and play our best football and to win this football game. Because that's who we are right now in our program. That UMass beat us last year. We turned the ball over 5 times. They have a tough schedule. They've lost some close ball games, and they look at with the opportunities to have success in their program this year. They look at us as a team that they play their best. They've got a chance to win. So our kids know that. We've had a spirited week of practice. I say a week, a couple days plus this week, and today was great practice. But now we've got to go out there and not turn the ball over and play hard for 4 quarters against this football team on their home field, and go out there and expect to win a close ball game. So UMass, like I said, schedule, pretty tough schedule, like almost everybody in our league, where your non-conference schedule is tougher than a very tough conference schedule. Their defense is very good, a very solid defense. Their offense has not scored a lot, and probably been their toughest point. But we need to hold them to that average. But defensively, they're about 3rd in the conference in pass defense, and I think they're very, very solid on defense. And they will be a real challenge to us. Middle linebacker, number 35, Stacy. What's his name? Stacy Andre is. Their leading tackler. We think both corners are very good, and will be tested on offense. Running, they've got a nice tight end, Blanche Flower, Tajay Sharp, an outstanding linebacker, and I think the hot running back Lorenzo Woodley, I think, is the hot one right now. They've had Bedell, I think, was the one that they got all about 3 tailbacks that rush for about the same amount of yardage, and they've used a couple quarterbacks, but. We're excited about it. We haven't had 2 wins in a row here since 2008, and we've talked about that this week as a football team, and it's going to be a real challenge for us.
I think going into this game last year, and it's a weird question, but did they go in overconfident, you think?
George, there's no, you can't lose so many games and be. It's to me, when you go out there and you turn the ball, it's a lack of deep down confidence more than anything else. You might go in. I think when you doubt yourself and doubt your chance to win. I think we had 5 turnovers. If you remember, and Dalton did not have one of his best days. 2 or 3 of the passes just. One time he just overthrew a guy, and the other time our defender fell down and went right into another guy's hand. So then we threw an interception in the end zone going in. And fumbled once for 5 turnovers, but we got beat by them because we turned the ball over 5 times, and gave them a chance to get ahead of us, 15-0 before we made it 15-7, and but I think there's too much history of having to be an underdog and lose to be overconfident. Even our wins have been down to the wire, and so. I can't wait till we have get to the point where where that is my pregame speech. But and again, I would think this year, I would think surely they know how difficult it has been to win, and hopefully that wouldn't be the case this year either.
Have you talked to them about that game last year at all?
Yeah, we have. That's part of that's part of the way we start practice, you guys, fellas. We lost this thing last year to them. Much of the same football team, and if we turn the ball over like we did last year, we'll probably 5 times we'll lose again. So, but they're aware of it. They're aware of it, and so, like I said, I think our team understands now. Our team to win football games, we've got to expect to play hard 4 quarters, and try to outlast a team. And I'd love to have something turn the other way. You'd love to get one in the other way. But that's what our players have come to expect.
not looking too far ahead.
Right.
Obviously, your defensive line has played quite well. I mean, you've got 25 sacks, and your rush defense is partly true. Now, that's the one area. You also got a lot of seniors up there.
Right.
I mean, so is this something we're looking at? And how are we looking at that as far as the future?
Well, we've got Cody Grice coming back, and we've got Hollis coming back. Junior, he came in here. We've got Copeland, a freshman that we signed, that's redshirting. We've got Savon Pittman, who is about 6'5" or 6', 270. Defensive ends, Nordic Happy coming back, and we got a good share of them coming back. But you always have to go after guys like that, because you lose Capone and Moses, Presley, and James, and you'll have about 5 or 6 back.
You just obviously see the difference.
Yeah.
From being able to run 8 guys out there is just a huge difference.
It's a lot, and again, we'll probably have 6 coming back that'll be ready to play, and need to pick up a couple more. We're looking at a few, as we are, it's like offensive lines. The offensive line's funny though. We felt like we had 8 or 9 that, but I bet we played 5 guys the last 4 or 5, and they played every snap because 5 guys have elevated themselves. And but defensively, I think we'll have Horner coming back at defensive end, and Okafor and Cappy. Cappy, and so we've got a few coming back. But again, that's part of the process, like I said, of this program. It's been one's development of the athletes we have here, and continued recruitment. We're not talking about UMass, but we are talking about what we out recruiting last week during the off week. We were out, half of us were recruiting, half of us were getting the game plans ready, and we may pick up a junior college guy or 2 on December 14th, a signing date, or I think 14th or 15th is the signing date. And but we have to you might pick up a 1 or 2 there. We might, and continue to. We've got to continue to build. I mean, we're stronger this year than we were last year, and we need to be stronger next year than we are this year. It's a continual process, and whether we can be where we want to be after 3 years or 5 years, or it's still going to take time from a standpoint of to be where we need to be.
The graduate student transfer thing that you used this year, I mean, is that something you can see being a regular part of it?
It is a regular part of football right now. It's I mean, we probably had 2, or we've had 1 the first year, 2 of them the first year. Now, it has to be the right fit. It has to be the right fit. I wouldn't want a guy coming here if he's looking to be a starter, and I can't promise him a starting position, or I don't feel like it's going to be, if it's not a good fit for him and us. And then a lot of the graduate students have 2 years of eligibility left, which would make them about like a junior college transfer, but not an academic risk or nothing like, and hopefully had playing time. So I think you'll look at that, because, like I said, as universities in the country have given scholarship, paid for the freshman year summer school before the freshman year, and every other freshman year they're required to be there. The old days of having 5 years to graduate, it's 3.5 years and graduate. And if you have a coaching change in the middle of that, and the new guy wants to play his own guys, you've got a lot of players out there. You especially see quarterbacks, a lot of guys out there that want an opportunity, that are pretty good football players, and not just guys that are removed from a program. So, but now how that plays in, you like I say, somewhere along the line, that would be a once in a blue moon situation, because you've got your signees and your freshman signees and your senior leaders, and so we'll see where that fits in. That usually comes to play after spring ball, right around there.
They're ranked 11th in the conference in rushing. Right? They have like 240 yards a game. It's one of those instances where you might want to try to get Chisholm going for the running game.
Well, we need the running game to go, because the last couple of games, and we've picked it up and run well the last couple of games, and it really I thought saved us last week. So yeah, I mean the better your defensive plays and the closer the game is, and you want to establish that running game. So hopefully we can run the ball. This team's a pretty solid running team, run defense, but we've got to mix the running with the pass. So that's been I think. Been one of the reasons we've won 2 of the last 3 games, that the running game has been improved. And if you'll remember back when we beat Miami, we had to have 3 straight runs to get a first down. We had to run for a first down to run the clock out, which is important too. So, yeah, so we're running, we'd like to get that running game going this week to mix in with the passing game and have good balance. Would give us a better chance to win this football game. And then that's something we really want to continue to try to improve as part of our offense for the next year and in the offseason.
Is Chisholm doing anything differently than he was at the beginning of the season?
I still think he's really staying north-south a lot more. I mean, the key is that he's a cutback runner, a bounce runner, and the more we can put him, he can make that, yeah, one cut's okay, but then it's got to go north and south and get north and south and don't get sideways too much. I think that's the biggest thing he's doing. He's cutting back still, but he's getting north and south quicker, and that's something he's had to work on doing. But that's probably the biggest thing.
Talking about, you mentioned Copeland, the young kid out of Florida.
Uh-huh.
Those true freshmen under redshirt, are you seeing things you like, guys that can, or is that too early to really get?
Which one, Copeland and, Shaw?
Is it, or I don't know which one, freshman that you're
I said redshirt a defensive lineman?
Yeah.
I was talking, man, I hate to I haven't thought about all my freshmen because they've been on the scout team. I thought of Copeland, but I can't think of the other freshmen, defensive linemen that were redshirting.
Not just defensive line, but players in general.
Yeah, we have 2 or 3 offensive linemen that are redshirting, but again, those are ones that are getting valuable experience. Scout team, some of them are working second team with the op, but we're not playing them.
Yeah.
And then with the spring, they'll come along and really get a lot of help for us. So, you like to see that. Even Isaiah Williams, we're able to redshirt this year, is going to be a heck of a player for us. So those are all pieces of the puzzle, that we got to continue to build with and continue to build with.
Health-wise, was it a good time to get some guys?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Capone was banged up, and he's getting himself a little bit healthy, ready to play. Okafor didn't play. It really cut his foot and had to get the stitches out, and he's just now getting to where he could play. Offensively, still, Friesen has not been able to get back with us, and so that didn't help. But most of our guys, Nick Hirschman, is feeling better now because his knee was bothering him. So the health is a lot better. And Mizell is he's another one that's been able to practice a lot more. Whether or not I let Chuck decide on the rotation, whether Mizell starts or he had moved. He had moved Jatavis in the middle, I think, March in the middle, wasn't it? And put 3 faster linebackers there, but Mizell and of course Rossi have the ability to do that.
Any thought tonight on Ball State and Northern Illinois?
Be fun to watch. You can't hardly. What's that? Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because I mean, just look at the scores last night, and you say, well, what do we know? Ohio and Bowling Green. You can't imagine. Buffalo has been on a roll, and they got thumped by Toledo. This one, though, doesn't seem to me. This one is. I'd have to think it'd be a fairly good scoring team by both teams, and it's a tough matchup to call. They're both pretty daggum good. And I think anybody that's a MAC fan is going to enjoy watching that. There'll be 2 teams that we all want to watch, and looking for a good one. 2 well-coached teams with the quarterbacks they got the senior quarterbacks, so that's why they're playing for championships.
How tough are those midweek games on coaches and players? That's got to be a little bit.
I think there's no question that the conference. We gain from the exposure, being on those nights. You have kind of a captive audience for people that are diehard college football fans. It is kind of weird. Now, if you've got an off week like we do this week before it doesn't. Of course, Friday game's not that much difference, but it's if you can get an off week worked in with it, it's work right after. It's probably a nice deal because you get a week and a half till you get there, then a week and a half after you get there. So, but you got to have that off week. Well, everybody has to have that off week tied in with it. So again, I can remember when I was coaching early in my career when the Thursday night games first started, and playing. My first game was on a Thursday night at Auburn versus Ole Miss in 1993. It was a Thursday night game, and we coaches like us, we get to watch TV football on Saturday, and that's what we enjoy doing. So, but I think it's been good for the conference to have games. I remember being down in Alabama watching the Mid-America Conference games, 2009, 10, 11, you know, and other than that, you wouldn't watch. You wouldn't have a chance to watch them.
Probably a good chance we'll be back in the rotation next year too for some of those games.
We'd like to be in the rotation. But like I said, we've had a lot of general discussions here. But we take care of UMass and see what happens, and then go from there. That's the main thing we got to do. And but it's those are interesting issues in the conference and for our future.